ready to roll. So I want you to hit the main links on your website for 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll go to the video. Okay?
So what are we doing? Explain exactly.
We're going to do, you talk on the phone, I go to the website, I go to the video pages, and we play it, and you will have an immediate video from live stream to Vimeo instantaneously.
Okay, so that I can then get this up on my website.
I can send you the link within minutes.
Okay, so now I do want to tell you right now.
Oh, we're live. Okay, this is Dr. Bill Deagle here. We're with Deborah Tavares, and we're talking about your website and your show today. Today is the 25th of June, 2018, and Deborah's on the third hour, usually on Mondays. Her website is stopthecrime.net. I totally support everything you say and do, and you're one of the main, called Lemming Epiphany Syndrome. You're basically waking everybody up to the fact that we're being entered into the matrix with 5G, water shortages, population reduction, resilient cities, Rothschild invasion of the small cities and towns around the world. This is evil beyond belief, and the average lemming, the average person that doesn't want to believe it, is getting Lemming Epiphany Syndrome by listening to you and checking out these sites. So today I have your website up, Deborah. Do you want to talk about the new links you have up, and then we're going to go to that video you recommended I have on 5G?
Yes, absolutely. The reason that I'm recommending the YouTube that you're going to be displaying, which is entitled Verizon CEO on the Future of 5G, CNBC, is so critical because he does divulge new strategies of deployment now. And as I discussed on the show today, Dr. Bill, Verizon works now with the utility companies in your area. And Verizon is now deploying onto your utility poles. In other words, they are circumventing your cities. Recently, Verizon put in an application request here in Northern California to deploy small cells on the city light posts. But the city has said they want to look at the aesthetics of what the equipment looks like. So they've put a pause on that deployment, and Verizon is really, really mad. So what they've done is they've taken the cue from the Brookings Institute on a document entitled The FCC and Cities, the Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And this is a psychological expose from the Brookings, which is funded by Rockefeller, and they say is a think tank, and it's highly revered. People don't understand this is the enemy, one of the many enemies within this country that is destroying everything that we thought was good and decent. They're destroying everything.
Right. What people need to know, this is all based on this carbon credit garbage. I'd like to say the demonic alternative to your site, which is telling the truth, stopthecrime.net. The alternative is stopthecarbon.net, which is to kill all of us and destroy the geoclimatic world so that it can sustain life. That's how bad it is.
That's exactly how bad it is. And the Brookings Institute document that I'm referring to does talk about how the wireless industry was too abrasive in their initial rollout of the small cells and 5G, and they've been getting quite a bit of pushback from people now across the country, and in fact, even in Europe. So they're telling them to back down and to go to mayors in the various cities that are receptive to Agenda 21.
Let me play that video because I think it's very telling. I had to look at it.
5G is the next generation of wireless service, and it may be closer than
so everyone, please dovetail this YouTube.
Well, wait a second.
This video from Verizon.
It's playing right now.
How a world functioning in the 5G network will impact healthcare, gaming, and even how we cross the street. You can see some of it right there. Joining me now is Verizon's Chairman and CEO, Lowell McAdam, right here on the floor of the NYC. Thanks. And thanks for the tour yesterday. It was interesting, of course. Not too far from here, you have a basically 5G coming into a large setup where you have a lot of different software engineer applications, people coming in from other companies trying to figure out how it all is going to work. How far are we from actually seeing some of this stuff hit the consumer or business?
I think we're a lot closer than people think, David. We've already announced that we're going to do 3 to 5 cities. We're locking in on 4 this year, so we'll be commercial. Two of those are Sacramento and Los Angeles.
We should point out Los Angeles, that's news right now.
Yeah.
That
These
has
are
not
these
been shared
forward-thinking
previously.
mayors you're talking
So
about.
LA will
Yes.
be the second that we know about of the 4 cities that you're going to be rolling out in.
Yeah.
When are you rolling out?
Well, we'll launch by fourth quarter. So that's our plan. We've had some great partnerships with some forward-looking mayors. Marty Walsh in Boston's a good example. Mayor Garcetti in LA. So we want to really be able to show the scale of 5G and the impact that it'll have on people across all the applications, some of which you just mentioned.
Right. Well, yesterday I saw.
Oh, believe it or not, that video just went bye-bye.
Are you kidding me?
No, it just it blanked out. Isn't that crazy?
So they heard me talking about it and took it down, do you think?
No, I think what happened is that I'm going to move forward and get the video back up here in a second. It'll just take a
5G
second
is
to
the
get it
next
up.
generation of
And
wireless.
Okay.
I'll move forward into the video again.
Okay, so are we done then? You'll just put
No,
this
no,
up and
I'm-
out and attach this Brookings
What you
document.
Second, wait a sec.
yesterday is what we call
Huh?
ultra-wideband
Wait.
5G, and it's based on the assets that
I gotta back up.
Verizon has amassed. So as you know, we bought 36 million miles of fiber. We're putting fiber out there so that we can have big pipes feeding the cells. And then we bought a lot of spectrum from XO and Straight Path. So we will literally have hundreds of megahertz of bandwidth.
Oh my God, hundreds of
over the full
megahertz.
suite of services
I know.
of 5G. You don't get.
There won't be latency, which means they can have autonomous vehicles, autonomous
Let
skyway.
me hear what else he said.
In capacity.
I'm listening,
5G
too.
will deliver a megabit of service for about 1/10 of what 4G does today. So that allows us to push out into markets and applications at a good cost that we've never been able to do before.
Well, let's talk again about the push out then, because I am curious. So Sacramento and LA, the fourth quarter of this year, what does it actually mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll literally have over 1,000 cell sites up and operating on the global standard. We've got CPE for a fixed wireless application, so the intelligent home, and you experience what's going on with home appliances and broadband, Alexa, Siri, things like that. So, and then we'll very quickly in first quarter, as the mobile devices come available, move into a mobile environment. The beauty of how we're architecting our network is it's a multi-purpose network. So whether we offer fixed wireless or mobile or an enterprise service, it doesn't matter. That allows us to drive our costs down and serve more customers.
All right, and you mentioned, of course, the devices themselves. That's the thing. I mean, they're not in anybody's hand right now. When is that actually? And in 4G, it took some time as well.
Yeah.
And people are holding onto their phones longer, by the way. I mean, I don't know if this promulgates an upgrade cycle.
Well, I think if you look at how smartphones started out, I remember having a discussion with Steve Jobs when we said we were going to go to 10 megabits to a handset. His eyes lit up and he had all these ideas. Now delivering a gigabit to the handset, you're not going to have all of that with the first device, but that will be another long opportunity for us to penetrate the market and bring customers new and exciting services.
John Ledger, of course, he of Dumb and Dumber, was on our air when they announced the Sprint T-Mobile deal, talking about how we lag in 5G, taking into account to AT&T and Verizon in terms of their spending, and saying as a combination, Sprint and T-Mobile are going to spend far more, and we're far behind China. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, look, I can't say where they are in their process, but this is a 3-year journey for us. We started with global standards. We worked with the other carriers around the world and the equipment suppliers like Ericsson and Nokia and Samsung. And we've worked with the cities like LA and Sacramento, and we had 11 markets up last year in testing with hundreds of cell sites, proving that millimeter wave is an outstanding set of spectrum for this. So we have been plowing money into this within our capital budget for the last 3 years, and we're going to be commercial. So I'm not sure what's not happening in the market, and I think China is working hard to stay up with us.
Yeah, now yesterday I got to experience sort of what would be more the applications on the Internet of Things or machine learning, connected devices.
Yeah.
But so many people are focused on what this will mean.
Literally, the
for
Matrix
fixed
is coming
wireless
to
in the
us.
home.
I know.
When the day
Listen
comes,
to
that
this.
I don't actually have my phone on me right now, but when the day comes that you can deliver a gigabyte there.
Yeah.
Can you get through trees? Can you get through leaves? Can you actually get somewhere where you don't need cell sites every, 25
Yeah.
feet from my house?
Yeah, well, those were some of what I called the myths of millimeter wave, because no one thought that was good. And by the way, we're the only ones that have it now, so it's to their advantage to say it's no good. But when
Yeah,
we were
Ledger
out-
said it was no good.
Yeah.
He made a point of that.
Well, I'm an engineer. I'll just speak for what I know. When we went out in these 11 markets, we tested for well over a year, so we could see every part of foliage, every storm that went through. We have now busted the myth that it has to be line of sight. It does not. We've busted the myth that foliage will shut it down. I mean, that was back in the days when a pine needle would stop it. That does not happen. And these things, in the 200 feet from a home, we're now designing the network for over 2,000 feet from transmitter to receiver, which has a huge impact on our capital need going forward. So those myths have disappeared. We're charging ahead. The market will judge.
All right, well, I know you, of course, for many years as an engineer, as somebody who was behind the building the network that helped define Verizon and differentiated for some time from your competitors,
Yeah.
and have, of course, the largest subscribers and perhaps get the highest price. Do you see 5G the same way that you saw, whether it was 3 or 4G, in terms of being able to
Yeah.
offer that? And if so, how do you take advantage of it?
I don't see it that way, David. I'll tell you, I've been in this business since the first phone call back in '84. I have never seen a technology that will be more disruptive and have more benefit for consumers than 5G. It's just so completely obvious to me. And it won't be the traditional way where your handset, the speed to your handset will get you all excited. It's the ability to do autonomous vehicles. You can't do autonomous vehicles without 5G. You saw a couple of healthcare applications. The opportunity to lower healthcare costs and have better outcomes because of 5G and the latency of it. You saw a gaming console, or a gaming service yesterday. Because of the latency of the network, and for your viewers, that means how responsive the network is. You don't have to have big gaming consoles. You don't have to have tethered devices for
Yeah, we're looking at some pictures of it there.
yeah, for virtual reality. All that stuff changes.
So the virtual people will be entering virtual reality too using this, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there were going to be investments.
They're literally going to be
Viewers are only
cybernetically
going to be
connecting
able to
people
start understand.
to go into
But to your point,
Jumanji,
you
the
think
video
that many of
games,
the applications
through their
haven't been
cortex.
thought of as yet.
Yes.
No, I mean, we've had some of these, like autonomous vehicles, in our mind for a long time, but the ability to do it and do it well,